So I'm Reuben Sameach, and I'm going to present to you today Crabbr, which is the company I work with. So a little bit about myself. I'm Reuben, UX UI designer, and this is my new dog, Donnie. Got it 2 weeks ago. So the client, Crabbr is a travel and itinerary platform which takes AI-powered technology and user-level recommendations and embedded it into shells. And they're based in New York. So the brief, Crabbr's current web interface, it's a little bit harder to understand. I took the test to make the test of creating shells with less friction and easier for the user. So what are shells? Shell creation time, this is the problem. One of the main features is the ability to create shells. Shell, basically, it's a curated recommendation list that's made by the AI in Crabbr and by users. And this project goals are speed via clarity and simplicity, reduce the amount of time and effort from the user to create the shells. Before I started the project, I did the Heuristics Evaluation, Nielsen's one, and those are top 3 findings that I found in this evaluation. So sum it up, the hypothesis is how much we redesign Crabbr shell creation process to allow an easier and clearer experience for users. Some of my success metrics are shell creation time shortened and increased number of registered users. Some of the failure metrics are a longer shell creation times and churn rate increase. You can see in the feature analysis, we're competing with like big giants of the industry. They have a lot of like good, nifty like options, but we're focusing on expert list curation and easy list creation, which is like, this is where Crabbr excels in. So we'll move on to the market positioning chart. Right now, Crabbr is more centered towards the center of the chart. We want to take it more to the quick axis. I use the user surveys to get more insight and data from users. You can see top findings. 78% take more than 20 minutes to search for exact activity for like a night out, for example. 80% want to have expert reviews, and 68% choose restaurant for the favorite form of activity. I also had 7 interviews. Some of the quotes you can see here. It's hard to decide where to go out. I would be happy to get expert reviews. I also got LogRocket data. LogRocket is a tool that allows you to record screens of users that use your platform. You can see here the top finding in the first one. You can see that it took a long time for users to complete the shell creation process, more than it should. I took all of it and put it in an infinity board to put labels on the findings that I had. You can see it here. And then I took the empathy map just to empathize with our regular users and to see some top pains and gains. This is Mark. He's 31. He lives in New York. He's a manager. He likes to go out like at least once a week to a new restaurant. And he's really gets frustrated when it's really hard for him to find like a new recommendation for a new restaurant online. This is the journey map. It's a typical like night out, going to a new restaurant, typical night for Mark. I'm going to focus on the search activity part, which is the biggest downfall, which it takes them a lot of time to find the right recommendation. This is the current Crabbr sitemap. Right now you can see the process is very cumbersome. It's very hard to people to navigate through the creation process. And then I moved on to the ideation. In the ideation process, I took all the insights and I moved on and I built my MVP. It's a minimum viable product. And to summarize, I'm going to focus on easier shell creation process, new ranking method, so people know what's the best, and new sharing method, and add pics to reviews. Then I took everything and put it into prototyping so I can test it out with users. I had 5 users. You can see some of my lo-fis. You can see some data that I got from users. On the left-hand side, you can see the map. First of all, I put them like a little smaller, and like 50% of the user did not like it. They thought it's like very hard to find what they're looking for. On the right-hand side, you can see the too many options made it like kind of hard to find and to understand. Okay, we'll move on to the meat files. You can see a little bit of improvement in the carousel, and on the right-hand side, people were not interested in group listings, so I just took it out of the MVP. This is the visual competitive analysis of the big four. And then I created a mood board with the attributes of smart, fun, and social. It's resonated well with testers. Style tile, I took the regular style tile that I had before from Crabbr, and I modified it to my needs to resonate with the brand attributes. Now, before I show you the hi-fi, you can see the current process, how it looks in Crabbr, which is like very hard to read. It's like long. And now I'm going to show you a walkthrough through my meat file. So let's say I want a pizza, and you see the daily meal. I get like a top recommendation from a top magazine. You can see some micro interactions. And then I want to put it into a list because I wanted to share it with people, or I wanted to save it for myself. So the process here is very simple, you can see that everything is one page. You don't get shifted to any other page, and you get instruction play by play how to do everything. I'm just going to skip a little bit. So you can share each individual recommendation or shells, more micro interactions. I added some error screen here. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. User testing results. So after the hi-fi, I have 57% improvement in shell creation time, a 67% increase in test completion, and overall increase in user satisfaction. Key learnings. I think it's like very important to let the data drive you. Obviously, it's what we get. It's what we learn here every day, and get all the data from the stakeholders beforehand, before the project starts. Next steps, monitor success and failure metrics, keep working with clients, work in voice UI. It actually works, but due to some technical difficulties, I can't present it. I also took the liberty of designing the new page of Crabbr because I recognize some difficulties of understanding what it actually does. And that's it. Thank you so much. Please connect with me. Happy holidays.